The most powerful person in the Conservative Party at the moment is Nigel Farage, because when they come to choose their new leader, if Nigel Farage actually says to the Conservative members, if you vote for this person, we're going to stand against you, or if you vote for, say, for Kemi Badenoch, we won't stand against you.
I totally agree.
There's no way that the Conservatives in the country would not go along with that, because they know that if Nigel Farage stands against them again, then they are absolutely done.
Well, but they're also going to cause huge problems for your parties too, Stephen, because they were second in 93, 94 seats.
And I've never denied,
and in some seats it's barely 1,000 votes where Labour had.
I've never denied
the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, 1,000 votes. That's all their majority is.
Well, at one stage we were genuinely worried about Yvette Cooper. And we also worried about in Barnsley we nearly lost. There's a whole range of seats we did. No, I've always said that we are in the Labour Party, we shouldn't stand back and applaud the Reform taking votes from the Tories. It's a two-way street.
I think you make a mistake if you think that Reform would want to paint themselves with the Tory brand right now. I don't think they would. No, why would you?
No,
you wouldn't. I mean, the Tory brand is so embarrassing.
I don't think they will. But as Steve's already pointed out, if Farage says, I can do business with this person, then there are signs of a right-wing alliance. And what that will mean is that Reform will have to water down some of what they're doing, and the Tories will have to strengthen what they're doing. And I can see that happening over the next 5 years and are coming together. Because remember, only 1 in 5 people of voting age in this country have voted for the Keir-style government.
Well, what Reform are doing at the moment is quite interesting. I mean, I know quite a few people in Reform. They're concentrating entirely on local government now. They're all their efforts, all their energies, and don't forget they get a fair bit of money now, what we call short money. The money that goes to anybody with more than 5 MPs. They are trying to build up a power base in local government exactly the same way that Paddy Ashdown and the Liberals did it. Get a few councillors elected, spread it out, and then you have the donut effect, then you start to win more seats. They will be doing that. Watch out for a lot of Reform activity at ground level in parishes and councils.
I think you're right as well, and I actually think that Reform will become the second party, not the Conservatives, and actually it will be the Conservatives who will need to go to be part of Reform. And I think some of the Conservative MPs may become Reform MPs instead.
No, I agree.
Some of them are looking at the membership already.
What people like is a strong leader. That's why Mrs. Thatcher was so successful so long. They might not have liked the policies, but they saw this woman stand up, speak her mind, not trying to second guess the constituents and tell them the way it's going to go. Farage may be many things, but he's a strong leader.
Yes, he
is. And people can gravitate towards him.
Now, what do you think about this one? Kemi Badenoch, the Shadow Housing Secretary, who is expected to run in the Tory leadership contest, used the first Shadow Cabinet meeting to say that Mr Sunak's decision to call an early election without first informing the Cabinet was a mistake. And she said it bordered on unconstitutional.
Well, a period of silence on her part would be very, very welcome.
Well, I'd say that for all Tories, actually. I think we don't need to have many of them.
A house divided unto itself will not stand. The problem is, all this does is reinforce the image of the Conservatives ripping shreds.
Yes, totally agree.
A divided rabble.
It looks terrible.
It does.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say, I thought Rishi Sunak's departing speech was so appropriate.
I agree.
Gracious, I think.
Dignified, gracious.
So appropriate, gracious, humble, and, I've no shame in being leader of the opposition. It's a vital role in this country. That's basically what he said. And I think compare that with the way Kemi Badenoch has now decided to rip into him. I don't think it's good style at all.
I also think it's inappropriate to attack your leader from abroad.
Exactly.
She's in Washington, in a sense, she's representing Britain in a way.
Yes.
I know they're not in government now.
Yes,
but
very bad style.
And also to talk about what was the expression she used about children? What was she said? The
that was
Braverman in her flag. But she was talking about
brutalised and all this mutilated children.
But isn't it interesting? The Shadow Cabinet is quite small now, but it's still leaked. So did Badenoch leak this story? Because this is all about her leadership campaign. I told Rishi, I told him what for. I'm told she didn't utter a word of criticism when he announced the election was on July the 4th.
Right.
Two ministers criticised it. One was Esther McVeigh. Right. And the other one was...
James Cleverly.
No, it was the outgoing Northern Ireland Secretary, Chris Heaton-Harris. The Cleverly had been told the night before and thought, well, there'll be a proper debate in Cabinet about it, only to be told by Rishi Sunak, well, I've already told the King.
He's been to see the King.
Done.
How on earth do you know these things? What contacts do you have that could actually have that information revealed to you?
I talk to people.
Well, that's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Esther McVeigh, of course, is back, and
She's
that's
back.
a very good thing because I think
she's a proper Tory.
Exactly, and
Back on GBNews.
Yeah, and it would have been wicked if she lost her seat because she's a Brexiteer. And the irony is, of course, with what Reform did, and I can see why people voted him in large numbers, some really, really hardline Brexiteers lost their seat because Reform took so many votes from them, and a Lib Dem won, and they want to take us back in the wretched EU.
I wonder why Jeremy Hunt has decided not to stand. I would have thought that he would have been in quite a strong position because he kept his seat against a ferocious onslaught from the Liberal Party.
He didn't hardly get any support when he went for leadership of the Conservative Party. He's not going to get support now.
more of the same wishy-washy.
Exactly.
Not
wishy-washy.
But that's Stephen Pound all over, Mike. Wishy-washy, Stephen Pound, wishy-washy. Perfect role in a pantomime. I think they should.
Wishy-washy. Are you widow Twanky?
I think they should have a caretaker leader and pick a leader next year.
Yeah, no, I don't think next year. I think that's too far away. Well, certainly a caretaker leader now. But what they've got...
Ian Duncan Smith. Give it to Ian Duncan Smith over the summer.
David Davis.
Maybe before the party conferences in October.
Or at party conference.
I would give it to Ian Duncan Smith because he was such an effective welfare minister. He was cutting the welfare bill, literally, getting people back into work.
I think the important there was. Okay, thank you very much, Mike Parry, and also to you. Love to see you soon.
Neither of us are standing, by the way.
Yeah.